Have you ever looked at someone else's life and thought they have it easier than me? That thought was the quiet spark that began an unusual night for two neighbors who lived side by side, yet in completely different worlds. David was a man in his mid-40s, working at a local office, known for his cheerful smile and easy laughter. From the outside, his home looked like the picture of warm the children playing in the yard, his wife greeting him at the door, family dinners around the table. Across the fence lived Amir, a serious man with a calm demeanor, always well-dressed, always polite, and seemingly always in control. His house looked neat, his garden immaculate, his evenings quiet. For years, the two men waved politely to each other, shared small talk about weather or football, but secretly, each carried assumptions. David thought Amir had it easy: no noisy kids, no messy dinners, no endless chaos. Amir, on the other hand, envied David's apparent joy of the sound of laughter, the togetherness, the vibrancy of life. One summer evening, as they stood near the fence sipping tea, the conversation took an unexpected turn. "You know, Amir," David said with a grin, "sometimes I wish I could live in your shoes. Peaceful evenings, no endless noise, no toys on the floor." Amir chuckled, shaking his head. "And I sometimes wish I had what you have: a family, energy, laughter filling the house. Mine is too quiet, too serious." They laughed at the absurdity of their words. But then David, with a mischievous glint in his eyes, said, "What if we swapped? Just for one night. You live as me, and I live as you." At first it was a joke, but the more they thought about it, the more intriguing it became. It wasn't about pretending to be each other literally, it was about stepping into each other's homes, taking over the evening, and seeing firsthand what it really felt like. After a moment of hesitation, they shook hands on it. That night would become the strangest, most eye-opening night of their lives. David walked into Amir's house with curiosity. The silence hit him first, a thick, heavy, almost echoing. No children screaming, no TV blasting cartoons, no dinner table chaos. For a brief moment, he sighed with relief. Finally, peace, he whispered to himself. But the peace didn't last. He noticed the papers stacked on Amir's desk and unpaid bills, official letters, deadlines. His phone buzzed with constant work notifications. Even after hours, Amir's responsibilities didn't stop. David sat down to go through the pile, realizing how much pressure his neighbor carried silently. Every number on the bills, every urgent email was like a weight pressing down. The peace of the house was deceptive, yet it was the peace of a battlefield after the soldiers have fallen, not the peace of rest. Meanwhile, Amir entered David's home. Immediately, chaos swallowed him. The children ran toward him, tugging at his hands, shouting for attention. The kitchen smelled of dinner half-cooked, the living room was a minefield of toys. He tried to smile, but inside he felt dizzy. David's wife asked him to help set the table, while the children screamed over who got the bigger portion of dessert. The noise was relentless, each demand louder than the last. As the evening unfolded, Amir realized something profound. Behind the laughter he envied was constant exhaustion. Behind the joy was endless labor. David's life was filled with warmth, yes, but also with responsibility that never paused. And David, sitting in Amir's silent study, realized that what he thought was peace was actually loneliness mixed with pressure. No playful interruptions, no laughter, just deadlines and silence. He missed the chaos he had taken for granted. Hours passed. Each man tried to manage the other's life, stumbling through the unfamiliar roles. David failed to answer Amir's complex work emails, feeling inadequate. Amir, struggling with bedtime routines, felt drained in ways he never imagined. What they once envied now felt unbearable. As midnight approached, the two neighbors returned to their own homes. They met at the fence again, the night air cool, the stars silently watching. David's face looked pale but thoughtful. "I thought your life was easy, Amir. But it isn't. You carry so much on your shoulders, responsibilities no one sees. That silence in your house is a broken bar, it's not peace. It's heavy." Amir nodded, equally humbled. "And I thought your life was full of joy. It is, but that joy comes at a price. The effort, the noise, the exhaustion. You give everything, every single day. What I saw as happiness is built on sacrifice." They stood quietly, both realizing the truth. Envy had blinded them. They had looked at each other's lives through windows, never stepping inside to see the hidden struggles. From that night on, their relationship changed. They no longer envied, they respected. They no longer judged from a distance, they supported up close. If David needed help fixing something, Amir was there. If Amir needed company after a long day, David was there. The fence between them became less a barrier and more a bridge. The lesson of that single night lingered forever. The life you think you want may be far heavier than the life you already have. And the life you complain about might be the very gift someone else wishes for. So the story ends not with envy, but with understanding. Not with distance, but with connection. That one night of exchange didn't just swap lives, it transformed two men, two families, and a friendship that would last a lifetime.